Yesterday, I posted up a picture in my community post saying that Miles Sanders is the next LeSean McCoy. Today, we're going to talk about some similarities and some differences. But the main thing is, LeSean McCoy was the all-time leader for the Philadelphia Eagles when it comes to rushing. And the way Miles Sanders' rookie season was, I think he could pass him. What is going on, everybody? If you don't already know, I go by Philly Mike, and this is the Philly Talk Podcast. If you are new to this channel and love talking Philly sports every single day, what are you waiting for? Hit that subscribe button. Now, if you believe LeSean McCoy is the #1 rusher in Eagles franchise, well, the proof's in the pudding. He leads the franchise in rushing yards. But believe Miles Sanders has the potential to pass him. Smash that like button. And oh, by the way, it helps this content and pushes it out to other Philly fans. With all that being said, before I get into today's topic, I want to shout out all the new channel members: Vic3, Carapool, Paul44, Murph DeKenzo, Gene Pio, Jalen Williams, and last but not least, my guy, Philly Fresh. And for those who want to check it out, I revamped the channel membership to 3 tiers. We got the Philly Talk 27, we got Philly Talk Grinders, and we got Philly Talk Nation. As you see, some new things were added, some new things were switched around. Philly Talk Nation, though, does have a perk where you automatically get into the Philly Talk Fantasy Football League, and you get 10% off whatever the buy-in's going to be. So we still got the guys who are going to be in a fantasy league, but we got some spots open as well. The link will be in the description. So it's all love at the end of the day. I appreciate you guys just coming through and watching the video. On that note, let's get to the video. As you see from the thumbnail, who would have thought in 2009, having Brian Westbrook, the Eagles would look in the second round, pick number 53, to draft a running back, learn from Brian Westbrook, and then take the reins as the starter running back. And then 10 years later, in 2019, in the second round, pick 53, go get that same style of running back who, if he can be like LeSean McCoy, we can have 4, 5+ years of talented running behind Carson Wentz. Another coincidence is, in 2009, Brian Westbrook was supposed to be that guy and ended up getting hurt in the beginning of the season, and LeSean McCoy took over as the starting back and broke the rookie rushing record for the Philadelphia Eagles. Fast forward 10 years later, Jordan Howard is supposed to be the main back, with Miles Sanders learning from him and filling in spots, and he gets hurt, and Miles Sanders gets thrusted into the #1 running back position and breaks the rookie record held by LeSean McCoy. These are things that you can't make up, and it writes its own story. And this story could have a happy ending when we're talking about the end of Miles Sanders' career being the best in Eagles franchise history. Now, before we go any further, I'm not saying it's going to be easy for Miles Sanders to pass LeSean McCoy, because LeSean McCoy did special things in Philadelphia, and his time was cut short from a coach name that I will not mention in this video because it's one of them names you just don't say anymore as a Philadelphia Eagle. But who knows how many rushing yards and what he could have been with his career if he stayed with a competitive Eagle squad rather than going to the Buffalo Bills. But let's get back to some numbers. Let's look at both these rookie seasons from LeSean McCoy and Miles Sanders and compare them real quick. Let's start with rushing, since they're running backs. LeSean McCoy, 155 attempts, 637 yards, an average of 4.1 yards per carry, and 4 touchdowns. Let's flip it to Miles Sanders. He had 179 attempts, 818 yards, an average yards of 4.6 yards per carry, and 3 touchdowns. Now, as a receiver, LeSean McCoy had 40 receptions for 308 yards and 0 touchdowns. Miles Sanders, on the other hand, had 50 receptions, 509 yards, and 3 touchdowns. And these are both the rookie seasons, 2009 and 2019.
Now adjusting to it. They're going to run it with McCoy, and a beautiful cut by Shady.
His offense has been asleep, and they will run it, and run it well with with Sanders making people miss.
When Miles Sanders was on the field early in the season in his rookie campaign, he did a lot of dancing, similar to LeSean McCoy. The difference was Miles Sanders stopped the dancing when LeSean McCoy really never stopped dancing behind the line of scrimmage. Now, I will say LeSean McCoy's dancing was special. I mean, at the time he was being compared to Barry Sanders, his social media pretty much described how he ran. Cut on a dime. I mean, he could cut on a dime and get back to full speed. I mean, he was one of the shiftiest backs in the 2009 to 2019 era. But Miles Sanders, although he can dance around and bounce out as well, he learned early in his career to hit the hole. Be patient, but hit the hole and don't try to make every play a splash play. Get the necessary yardage. Although Miles Sanders in 2019 as a rookie was one of our most big splash play kind of guys as a rookie in the receiving game and the running game. I seen a lot of maturity in Miles Sanders throughout the year, game by game, week by week, just getting better, running through the tackles, knowing when to bounce it outside, seeing the vision, just doing things that other rookie running backs don't do. And don't get me started on his receiving, leading the Eagles as a running back in receiving when it comes to most catches plus 30 yards or something along them lines. I mean, he did everything for the Philadelphia Eagles in 2019. When I look at both their running games, like I said, Miles Sanders learned to hit the hole. And although McCoy did at times, he still always had in the back of his mind, let me dance around and make something special happen. But when it comes to shiftiness, Miles Sanders is a special talent. But I got to give it to LeSean McCoy. He was just the definition of cut on a dime and get back to full speed. But both them being 5'11", right around 207 to 210, LeSean McCoy had a couple 300-yard carries on his resume. So I do believe we will run as a committee because that's what Deuce likes to do and the whole Eagles staff mainly. But Miles Sanders can carry the load. These are guys who want to run outside but can run between the tackles. They both have great vision. They're both shifty. Miles Sanders has a little bit more try to run through you. I believe he's going to as he goes through his career. But the bright side was Miles Sanders, who outdid LeSean McCoy when it comes to rookie seasons. LeSean McCoy took a big jump in year 2 and on. Let's look at that real quick. 2010, going into his sophomore season, he had 207 attempts, 1,080 yards, 5.2 average, 7 touchdowns, 78 receptions for 592 yards and 2 touchdowns. 2011, he had 273 attempts, 1,309 yards, 4.8 average, 17 touchdowns, 48 receptions for 315 yards, 3 touchdowns, 20 total touchdowns on a season. That's special. 2012 was a down year. He had 200 attempts for 840 yards and 2 touchdowns. But 2013, he was the rushing champion. He had 314 attempts, 1,607 yards, 5.1 average, 9 touchdowns. He had 52 receptions for 539 yards and 2 touchdowns receiving. He had 2,146 yards total from scrimmage. Over 2,100 total yards. That's just LeSean McCoy at his best. Seeing how Miles Sanders progressed through the year in his vision, with his patience, knowing when to hit the hole, knowing when to bounce it out, being able to break tackles both physically, making people miss. He's becoming an ultimate package. And like I said about the receiving game, he's top 3 or 4 in the NFL when it comes to receiving backs last year. With LeSean McCoy taking that big jump his sophomore season, I'm expecting the same thing for Miles Sanders. And I love how he came out on social media and said, I'm going to be an MVP player. I'm going to be an MVP candidate. When you have confidence in yourself, that just shows up on the field, especially after what you were able to do in your rookie season. LeSean McCoy's 500 to 1,000 yard jump his sophomore season got me really anticipating what Miles Sanders can do. And although we have Boston Scott and Corey Clement, and we might use Michael Warren or Elijah Holyfield for third down conversions, short yardage gains, which I think they could be pretty good bruisers. And we will possibly maybe fit Adrian Killins on the special teams and in a small package. I think you got to really allow Miles Sanders to get the bulk of the carries so he can bring that out of him. Running backs start to get going. If you're getting snaps and coming off and getting snaps and coming off, you never get into a rhythm. Miles Sanders, although he can receive a lot, I'm hoping the receivers take the pressure off him for having to get all these receiving yards. I mean, it won't hurt, but the less receiving yards he has to do, the more we can use him for what we need him to, and that's run the ball. Again, it's hard to say that somebody's going to come in and take LeSean McCoy's rushing record for the Philadelphia Eagles. But if there's one player to do it, it's Booby Sanders. The confidence, the improvement from the beginning of the season, the middle of the season, and the end of the season, all were dramatic in one season. Wait till he gets his sophomore, then his third season, his fourth season. I know they don't like to pay running backs, but we're going to have to consider doing that down the line. We'll cross that bridge when it happens. Pretty much I'm trying to say, Miles Sanders, get his jersey if you don't have it, because in the next couple years, he's going to be fighting for top 5 backs in the NFL, and let's see where it goes from there, because nobody thought LeSean McCoy was going to be the rushing champ in 2013 until we did it. Now, I don't know if we'll ever get to running the ball as much as the other teams and letting it be Miles Sanders' full backfield, but I'm telling you, he's going to be part of why the Philadelphia Eagles make the playoffs in 2020, and you heard it here first. Let me know what you think. Do you believe that LeSean McCoy and Miles Sanders are similar? Do you believe that Miles Sanders has the potential to pass LeSean McCoy as the #1 rusher in Eagle franchise before his time is done? You know what time it is. We out.